Yeah, sorry, I'm a little activated. Neighbors spraying poison on the ground. Driving me nuts. Anyway, mine's not gonna have that. Look at that thing. I built that when we moved into the house, like a year after we moved into the house in the backyard. I had 2 of them in this little spot, and I'm doing something different back there. And so I moved this out here to sort of establish the corner of this currently wilding front yard. I just got Bill Mollison's Permaculture manual, but these are not weeds. I'm learning a lot. So yeah, this is going to change a lot. This is sort of spreading the backyard into the front and doing everything with every inch of ground that I have to maximize soil vitality and life and productivity, and really build a permaculture system that is abundant and overly generous. I mean, that's the idea. It's more than you can have, more than you need. I got 3 of these big old water containers a couple years ago, and they've just been sitting around. I've even got gutters I got to put up, and it's time I got to really start doing this. But I just figured I'd just use this. I set out buckets to collect rainwater in various places where it drips from all this stuff sticking up in the sky, and this is just filled from that, and it's like just for me putting buckets out. So I got to really work on my water collection. That's really high priority right now, is to get the gutters up and get some IBC tanks installed and really get some water resiliency going out here, because we've been having a lot of rain, and it just I'm missing the boat. So I started building some garden pots. Basically, these are these really big pots, and they've got 4, 5, 6 things in each one of them. As things get too big, I'll probably move them into other places in the garden, but the idea was to have something I could keep a real good eye on, easy to protect from critters. Just have a lot of stuff in the soil. It's about soil density, planting density in the soil for me now. Seems to be kind of thematic in this sort of gardening space out there on YouTube. Look at what happened to this tomato plant. It went bonkers. I took 4 tomatoes off of it. This poor lady got it come down. It's too old. But look at all these tomatoes it made. It's January. And then, but then the flip side of the coin is this whole area right here has got some pretty serious pest action. I gotta get my spray going. I was actually going to show you guys how I've been making this spray. So this is where that planting bed was, right? And I moved my worm bin over here, and the worm bin has been giving me buckets of juice during the rain here. And so I've been putting them in this bucket right in here, and I just drop an aerator stone in it. And so now it's like worm compost tea, and it looks and smells quite happy. And then I've been actually incorporating it into my main, what would you call it, a sourdough tea? Because I just keep going. I just keep replenishing it. I just keep feeding. Add a new batch from the wrinkle. Throw the other stuff in the compost every once in a while, whatever's in this bag here. And then I've been dropping, like I said, now I've been dropping worm drippings when it rains a lot. So I can't just let that go right in the ground. So there's a lot of fertility here. And now when I have that much, I'll fill this up halfway with tea, and then the rest will be water. So it's like super concentrated tea. And I think that might be part of why things are kind of doing pretty well around here. At least that's my operating principle. So I've been kind of playing with my own spray from stuff made from the yard, and I have one of these little hand sprayers. Pretty cool. I put peppermint Dr. Bronner's. There's like 2 tablespoons of that. And then I have this jar of juices I made. And this is back in August. Aloe, peppermint, sage, lavender, and I don't know what that is. So anyway, it's gotten weak. This was like of the juice, this was like a 10-to-1 dilution. So the last time I made this, I put way more in than I did when it was fresh. It still smells minty and, you know, good. So I'm gonna throw a bunch of that in here. Because I got that fig tree in my greenhouse that's really struggling. Pretty mild. Even if I spray it when the sun's up, when there's sunlight on it. I haven't used it in like the heat of summer or fall that way, but right now when it's sort of wintry-ish, it doesn't seem to bother the plants. It actually makes them happier. So let's go nail that fig tree real good. So you can see, this is tomato vine here. That doesn't have any, I should just cut it off. But there's bugs on this thing, and there's rust, and it's just gotten pretty gnarly in here. I hope this plant makes it, but this is, I'm gonna really sort of coat this section here. This was really getting happy and then not so happy anymore. So I'm gonna stay on top of this over the next couple of weeks. The top is still pretty happy and hopefully I can keep it that way. But this greenhouse has just been a challenge for lots of things. And this experiment, I don't know about this. This fig never gave me any, there's a happy part, right? Never gave me any figs either. So, and I think this is kind of a shared problem with this tomato plant, but I don't care about the tomatoes so much. So, and I mean, it's on borrowed time already, so everything's a bonus. I have a friend in town who has this nursery called Rolling Hills, and I went for a herbal class she did, where she just walked us around the yard and showed us what she had and how we could use it. And she steeped a bunch of herbs in a French press, and so I got a French press, and I'm feeling kind of empowered to be able to go into the yard and just, you know, grab a handful of this or that, chuck it in there, and boil some water and throw it on for 10 minutes. And I mean, you can feel it. Lavender and sage and these things really have a calming effect. I've been using some stinging nettle, which has been popping up here and there, which is awesome. It's really kind of this whole new frontier that's really interesting and exciting. I got some books that are really kind of cluing me in, and anyway, really kind of a neat component of all of this that I'm just getting into. That's pretty much what's going on. Oh, there's a bed right here. Wait about this. This was all just shrubby mess, and it was a little slope here, and it came down. So I made these stakes and hammered them pretty far down in there. I'm not really super concerned about how stable this is, as long as I can get this built up and going, and it can last a while, and I can shore it up if I need to. But this is all just soil ground that I turned over, and then I covered it with a layer of the compost that I was telling you about pulling out of the compost bin, and then I threw some wood chip bumps that I had laying around, which is pretty degraded. So I think this is going to pop off pretty strongly here this spring. So I'm excited about a whole other bed. I can put wildflowers and herbs, and now that I got this book and I'm kind of really starting to ingest the whole package, things are clarifying in terms of what I want to do here, and I'm going to be a lot more clear with you all about what's going on here very soon too. So, but that's kind of the nature of what this is, this unconditionally curious thing, is because we've been, I suppose you could say there's a ship heading in a direction, but we haven't been navigating or planning much other than just sort of feeling our way along, and it's starting to sort of turn into something. We've had warm temperatures and a lot of rain, and things are just kind of going off, surprisingly. So just rolling with it and trying to take the best advantage I can. Anyway, I guess that'll do it for another update from this experiment, what is evolving into an experiment in sort of urban permaculture, really.